In yesterday class, I have revised 1 marks and 2 marks questions. Today I am going to revising 8 marks in the organizing chapter. Before discussing of 8 marks question with answer, we have to know that what is the pattern or how we have to present the 8 marks in the examination. There are the 3 steps or 3 method you have to write like that only in the examination. If you are presenting like that, you will get 8 marks in the exam. First is introduction, second one is explanation, and third point conclusion. If you are following the 3 points or 3 steps in the examination, definitely 200% you will get 8 marks. Now in organizing chapter, there are the 3 questions. In 3 questions only they have to supposed to ask in the examination, or else we can also expect the few questions in this chapter. I will tell you that what are the questions other than this question bank questions. Here that first question in 8 marks, keep it in mind, in the organizing chapter there is no 4 marks for the examination, only 8 marks. This 8 marks will come in section D. In the final examination, the organizing chapter, the question will be 36. Question number 36 will be organizing chapter. Here that first question, explain the importance of organizing. This question they asked in 2 years, that is March 2019, supplementary March 2019. This question has came for 2 times in the final examination. I already explained, that is first step you have to write introduction, second is explanation. In introduction, here I have given the definition of organizing, but you can also write it the meaning of organizing. Like organizing is a process of bringing together all the resources with effectively and efficiently you can achieve that organizational goals. Coming to that explanation, for the importance of organizing, totally we have that 7 points. First point is benefits of specialization. That means in organizing function, they are going to giving or allotting the work. That means right people, they are going to performing a right job. It increases efficiency. Even if that the same worker or same the employee, they are doing the same work with repetitively, this will brings to more performance and they are going to very efficient in that work. This may leads to benefits of specialization. Second point, optimum utilization of resources. The main objective of organizing function is reduces the wastages and you can use that resources with efficiently. With this, the organization that can reduces the cost in the wastages and they can increases the profit in an organization. That means the organizing function, they have to use that resources in optimum, or they have to use that resources in systematic manner. It is called optimum utilization of resources. Next one, clarity in working relationship. In organizing function, the communication or the relationship or the line of communication, it should be very clear whom is report to whom. It will reduces confusion and misunderstanding between superior and subordinate. It is called clarity in working relationship. Next one, adaptation to change. This organizing function, if there are any changes in the surrounding or environment, immediately they are going to adapting. Like for example, they are going to adapting in a way of organizational structure. With this organizational structure, it may help to that organization smooth functioning all the activities in the organization. It is called adaptation to change. Next one, effective administration. In organizing function, the duties or responsibilities clearly defined and they allotted the work properly with right people to the right job. This will leads to reduces confusion and duplication. It will builds relationship between superior and subordinate, and also in administration work should be very effective. This is effective administration. Next one, development of personnel. That means the organizing encourages creativity among the employees. Even they will give that some freedom to the managers, and the manager will encouraging to the subordinate think in creative manner, think in a different manner. It is called development of personnel. And last point in the importance of organizing, expansion and growth. Organizing helps in growth and diversification of enterprises, and also this organizing function they are ready to take up new challenges, and also they are going to adapting new technology. That means whatever the technology has been updated or changed or modified, that all that technologies will going to adapt in the organization. It may leads to expand their business activities in a different areas, and also the growth we can indicate in the sense of the increases in profit, increases in sales, increases in number of employees. This all called importance of organizing. This question is very important for the examination point of view. And second question in 8 marks, state the advantages and disadvantages of formal organization. This question in the final examination they asked in only one time, that is in the year of March 2020. Here the advantages and disadvantages. The advantages in the textbook totally they have that 5 points. Disadvantages totally they have that 3 points. I already explained, that is before that writing of the answer for 8 marks, you can also write it the introduction. Here you can write it the introduction of meaning of formal organization. That is introduction. Formal organization, it is a structure designed by the top management to achieve that organizational goal. It is the introduction. Coming to the advantages of formal organization. First one is, it is easier to fix responsibilities. With the help of this formal organization, they can allot or they can give responsibility to the worker very easy, because since they have that mutual in the sense between or among the subordinate and superior, they have that a very good relationship in an organization. And second one, there is no confusion in the role that each member has to play as duties are specified. That means when they have that allotted the work on particular time, they clearly saying that, or they clearly inform that you have to done this work, you have to perform this work. After that performing this work, you can just report to Mr. A manager. Understood? That means here the roles and responsibilities clearly given to the subordinate, or duties are specifically they have specified. This may leads to, or this may avoids or decreases in the confusion among the employees. And point number 3, unity of command is maintained through established chain of command. Unity of command means even the superior and subordinate all the time they have that in the whatever the work they have given, that work they may be report with the manager. Understood? Even if that the manager will go into give the direction, they will going to give that order to that subordinate, the subordinate has to perform. Understood? It is called unity of command. This unity of command concepts are, this principle has proponed by Henry Fayol in the 14 principles of management. And next advantage, it leads to effective accomplishment goals by providing framework for the operation. Already I have explained, that is effective administration. They have allotted the work, that means it may reduces the confusion and misunderstanding among the superior and subordinate. This may lead to effective administration and you can easily achieve that organizational goals. Next one, provides stability to the organization. Informal organization, it may stay for long period of time because this formal organization structure designed by the top management. Whatever that they have, that is systematic manner that has to followed by the next levels of management. In informal organization, it is very difficult because all that employees, they are gathered together, they are discussing out of that organizational goals or out of the organizational matter. That is the reason the formal organization will stay for a long period of time. It is advantageous for the formal organization. Next, let us learn the disadvantages of formal organization. It may lead to delay in decision making because whatever the decision they are going to take, they have to take approval from the higher levels of management. For example, the Kumar is the manager in Infosys company. When they want to take a decision, he has to take that approval from the higher levels of management. He has to wait for taking that approval. This may leads to delay in decision making. Next one, poor organization practices. That means this formal organization does not give the freedom to the subordinate, and also it will not encourages to the creativity among the employees. Whatever that they said they have to perform the A work or B work, C work, they have to perform, after they have to get a salary. That's all. But they are not encouraging, they are not recognizing the talent or creativity of an employee. And next is difficult to understand all the human relationship. In presently also in formal organization, the each and every employee, they should not have a contact because of they are created that cabin. Even if that the employee should not having a contact, they should not having that, they should not build that human relationship because of this rules and regulation framed by the top level management. If they have discussed, if they have wasted the time, it may the organization or employees, they will not focus to achieve that organizational goal. Even this is the disadvantages of formal organization. And last question in the 5th chapter, that is organizing chapter, what is decentralization and explain its importance. What is decentralization? For 2 marks. Explain its importance, 6 marks. For meaning, decentralization, already I have explained, that is centralization and decentralization topic. Centralization means all the authority or all the power, all the decisions will be taken by the top level management. Here decentralization means the decisions making power, authority, it can transfer to the next levels of management. The top level management will give some authority to the middle level can transfer some authority to the lower level management. That means the decentralization means, can just imagine the levels of management, top level, middle level, lower level. That means delegation of authority. Delegation means transferring of authority throughout all the levels of organization. That all the levels of management having the power to take a decision making. Next, importance of decentralization. Here that explanation. First point, develops initiative among subordinate. When that lower level management is ready to take all the decision or some decision, or they have given the some freedom to take their own decision, it may help to that employee they can build their confidence, and also they have the chances to get a promotion in an organization. For example, the CEO, they have given the freedom to, or they have transferred some authority to the manager has transferred some authority to the 10 workers in a lower level management. The 10 workers, they can take the decisions when they are doing the work, and also it influences, or it may build the confidence among the 10 employees, and also whoever that or whatever the employee, they are given the best work or best performance, that employee, they have that possibility to get a promotion for the higher position in an organization. Next one, develops managerial talent for the future. That means the top management has given the opportunity to the lower level management, that is subordinates. If they are proving themselves, they are ready to go for higher position. Before that, they are ready to take up the challenges or challenging decisions or challenging activities in the organization. Point number 3, quick decision making. In formal organization, this is a disadvantage, delay in decision making. But in decentralization, what will happen? The Kumar, if they want to take a decision, they can take at the time itself only. No need to take approval from anyone. Understood? Because of this is a decentralization. It may save the time. It may lead to quick decision making, or else if you are going to taking the decision, you can just take a approval from the nearest level of management. Even if that they should not wait to, if suppose the lower level management, they have taken the decision, they should not wait for that to take approval from the top management. They can immediately take the nearest level of management. It may leads to quick decision making. And next is relief to the top management. What is that relief? That means they can concentrate on other developing activities in an organization, because the authority has transferred to the next levels of management. They can take decision. So that is the reason it is a relief to the top management. Next one, facilitates growth. That means it helps to the manager to at lower levels to perform their duties with full potentiality. Even suppose example, ABC company has given the full of freedom to that lower level management, that name called E. The E subordinate will perform with effectively, because they feel that they have to take the own decision, and also it may increases the confidence among the subordinate. It may lead to the growth in the organization. And last but not the least is better control. That means with the help of decentralization, it is a very easy to evaluate each and every department performance, with also individually. The individual also is accountable, is answerable for the result. This may leads to better control in decentralization. This is the decentralization importance. These are the 8 marks, and next we'll move on practical oriented question. This question they asked in 2 times, that is March 2019, March 2020. The question is, draw the organizational chart showing divisional and functional structure. We have the 2 kinds of structures in the organization, that is organizational structure. One is functional structure, another one divisional structure. Here also they asked, you have to write that, you have to show that in the chart, divisional and functional structure. Let us see that the chart here. This is the chart. It's showing that the divisional and functional structure. Here that first you have to write that managing director. Under that managing director, you have to write it that the functional structure, the cosmetics, garments, footwear, skincare, these are the divisional structure. Under that we have that functions called human resources, marketing, research and development, and purchasing. These are the organizational divisional structure and functional structure. With this, the chapter number 5 has been completed.